To serve great food is to create memories for your customers.
But it takes more than luck.
It takes consistency, creativity, and the drive to see things through.
And every day, the stakes are high, which means it's time to stand up
from your computer and start getting real. To own your kitchen is to own your bottom line.
This is the real world. And now...
This is the real world. And now...
This is the real world.
And now is the time to foodify your business.
Welcome to F Your Business Podcast. So there's no challenge this week. Okay, we're going to keep it simple. We want to go through. We want to make sure that obviously your food menu is profitable, but we also want to make sure that your alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages are profitable. So Scott's going to tell you what we're going to do this week.
Exactly. So while a lot of people understand that their non-alcoholic beverages, alcoholic beverages are making profit, they don't always realize that there might be some more profit in there, and that's going to offset some of the great food they're adding to the menu. So, like you said, it's not going to be one of our traditional challenges, but we do want to compare it to, what it would cost to bring in, a pre-produced lemonade, and what are the other big brands selling it for? I think that's where a lot of our operators don't realize that, that there are a lot of really national brands out there selling these non-alcoholic, summertime drinks for really nice profit prices. So we're going to show it today, and then really turning into the alcohol version is once you start with a great fresh product, what you can do by adding some, liquor to it, making some of your own signature drinks with it, and what that's going to do to, elevate your bar menu also.
Right, we want to cross-utilize, just like in the kitchen. You don't want to bring in an expensive product and only do one thing with it. You want multiple uses for it. Same thing with this. You bring in some, NA bevs that are going to be used on the alcoholic side too. So we're moving them, we're moving through our inventory, and we keep everything rolling, that way. And we're going to be profitable. Well, we got our shopping list. Obviously, we can't take inside a liquor store. They won't let us. But we're going to go in. We're going to shop. We're going to get what we need, and we'll be back in a minute. All right, our shopping's complete. We got what we need.
Chris seems like he has a lot in his bag. I don't know. Is that what we're doing today, or is that?
Oh, look, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So we're going to maybe get started a little bit early today. We're going to see. But listen, we got everything we need. We're going to head over to the kitchen. We'll see you in the kitchen.
We're a little slurred later. You'll know why.
Hey, welcome to F Your Business Podcast. I was doing a little recipe card work. Hope you're doing the same. Scott, they're here. What are you doing?
I'm ready to cook. Scott, are we doing the podcast?
Cook. Every week I ask you to help me, you got a problem. You can't. You don't know how to hold a knife.
I'm prepared now.
We're doing drinks.
This is the drink week.
You got an apron, you got... Oh, all right.
Let's put these away and get ready for some drinks then.
Well, how about next week you come prepared like that?
Yeah. All right. Well, good drinks are in my wheelhouse.
Put an apron on.
I even got the apron on that you gave me last week.
Here, let's have it back because I'm afraid you're going to lose it.
No. I'll save it for next week.
All right. So next week, ready. Bring the same tools. Here we are. Yeah. So, like we talked about earlier, we're going to be working on some beverages this week, right? No contest. We just want to make sure that your menu is profitable all around, not just on the food side, but every aspect of sales.
Yeah, and drinks is definitely a really good way for you to do it. And that's what we're going to try to show you guys today. We know a lot of businesses are, just serving the bottled drinks and bottled lemonades, bottled iced teas because it's easy. It's convenient, right? You order them, you get a case in, you sell them. But when you do that, you're giving so much of the bottom line up. Yeah. From when you can just make a nice fresh pitcher of iced tea, fresh pitchers of lemonade. They have the machines that make it for you. There's so many variations to get to this.
Right. And real quick, the machine's great idea. People see it, they want it, right? It looks so fresh, it looks great going through, it looks refreshing, so that's always a good idea. And it costs pennies to make a glass of lemonade.
Exactly. The cost of these are going to be no comparison. And when you go to, again, look at what all the the national or national coffee shops are doing, right? They're all adding iced teas, lemonades, refreshers, all these sort of things, and they're charging top dollar for them. Why should you not be in that same boat? You're not going to get top dollar for a bottle of lemonade. You're going to get whatever a bottle of lemonade is going for, a couple bucks, $2.50.
Some people are making 20 cents a bottle, 30 cents a bottle. That is a complete waste of your time, right? It's killing your margins. We want to bring your margins to where they need to be. This is another great example of how to get there. So let's make a drink, Scott.
Yeah, awesome.
All
We
right.
got,
and this is how simple this is. You could go to, Starbucks, Dunkin', Wawa. They make these drinks, right? They look so refreshing. It costs them about 10 cents to make that, and they're selling them for, I don't know.
the smallest one was like almost $3.
Right.
And that was at Wawa. We're Dunkin' and Wawa, if you don't know, Philadelphia. Right.
It's the cheaper end.
Yeah.
Right. If you go to Dunkin', it's $5-6. If you go to Starbucks, even a little bit more.
Right.
So and again, they're paying maybe 10 cents, of all the product that's going in that glass. So let's get some ice here.
Yeah, the nice part here too is it's a great, obviously with to go doing more and more sales, people are getting more drinks to go. And what travels better than a lemonade or an iced tea or like Chris and I have talked about LTOs. Having this as a summer LTO. The summer's not over yet. We can get these on the menu. Have a good few weeks with them.
We're going to make ours look better than theirs. Trust me. So you make a strawberry lemonade. You don't need to use the jigger. I like to use it to make sure I get a good ounce in there.
Yeah, and that's again, as we talk to any of our recipes, whether it's a non-alcoholic beverage or whether it's when we get into the alcoholic beverages, we still want to have a recipe card for it. We want whoever's making that drink to know what it is for consistency for our customer and for consistency from the price standpoint.
There you go. Look at that. Now you sell that for $5. It costs you almost nothing to make. It's that simple. We'll make you another one. We'll just show you how easy this is.
And the nice part is, right, as you start with your base lemonade, whether it's something you're squeezing fresh or it's something that you're getting into to basically mix with water and add, you can then do all these different flavors and combinations with it basically. That gives you the advantage than getting a bottle in that you can only use it for one.
If you put that on your menu, people are going to love it. It looks great. It tastes great. It's cost effective.
So again, starting with just a nice base lemonade. For this one, Chris is going to just put some fresh blueberries in. And again, we're going to go blueberry. Let's add a little color to it. This is just using a non-alc
blueberry syrup. Put that on your menu, $5-6, like I said. People are going to really go crazy for it. So that's just a couple of them there, right? It's endless of what you could do with it. Another one we could do is just giving you some great ideas. Let's get another lemonade
here. We can
mix
nicely a lemonade iced tea together, right?
We'll get to that.
So we have so many varieties to do here. The possibilities are somewhat endless.
So then you can just make a nice simple lemon basil, right, in the summertime. Then you go to lemonade, simple syrup infused with basil.
It sounds pretty good.
All right, give it a stir. Garnish it with a basil leaf. There you go. I mean, this is how easy it gets. And then we could do the classic. This is what started the whole, drink craze, I think, is this drink right here. I think this is the one that started it. The Arnold Palmer. All right, look at that. Okay, so these are just some simple suggestions. I mean, you could definitely do a lot more with it, but would you rather bring this into your restaurant and sell it for $2, $2.50 and make minimal on it? Or would you rather bring a fresh item like this in and sell it for $4 to $5 and make 90% profit on it? The choice is really easy to make.
Yeah, and especially as you add in the alcoholic beverage like we'll get into, they're just going to be such a nice fresher version of the drink, and they're going to look great. I mean, you saw Chris just make these 4 drinks. I mean, it's not like there's a lot of training that goes involved with the staff.
No, there's
it's
nothing.
Very simple. It's going to add great ingredients. Again, things you probably already have in your restaurant, like a blueberry or a strawberry. And again, those are just the ideas that we use for this. Maybe you have other ideas that you have in your restaurant that you can do. You can just go so many different directions with it, from really just having a base lemonade that you made and a base iced tea that you make. You know,
So simple, right?
you could add the simple syrup into the lemonade or into the iced tea. I'm sorry, and have a sweet tea that becomes very popular, especially in the summer.
The ideas are endless, right? But the whole point of this is you're putting a fresh product in your restaurant that people are going to know the difference between you giving them a bottle of something opposed to something so fresh. That's where we want to go to, right? That's where the margins are. Margins are on fresh. We can't continue to sell these that, one, are terrible for you, right? I mean, they're loaded with sugar and calories. This is much less because it's made fresh, it's better. It's just the way to go. It's profitable.
Yeah, and I think as we get deeper into this, we always talk like the history of the drink. I mean, really not much history for a lemonade. It's 1,000 years. I think it's gone. They can really date it back to like old Egyptian times. It's not anything new. It's a recipe that really hasn't changed. Obviously, they probably didn't make it as fancy as Chris just did on some of these drinks.
But the big question: did they mean to make lemonade? Or were they trying to do something? I don't know.
No, they had the citruses they were using, and they had some sort of sugar and water, and there you go. You had your first versions of lemonade, and it dates back, like I said, 1,000 years. But I think as of recent, you're just seeing it so much more part of everyone's menu.
But then the last couple of years, it's really grown into a very money-making business.
Right.
Where it used to be a forgotten aspect of your business. Now it became a revenue stream.
Yes.
And if you're not taking advantage of that, then you're missing the boat.
Right.
Right?
And again, you look at like the Starbucks of the world and the Dunkin' Donuts of the world that are coffee, right? They're primary goal in coffee. And now they are pushing all the advertising, all their specials
Focused here.
on Focused Here.
Yeah.
They're not doing that by accident, right? They did the market research. They know that this is where another avenue, right? I mean, when I go to Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, my daughter is not getting a coffee, but she's absolutely asking for a refresher or something on that line.
Well, listen, and we talked about this before with Dunkin', right? Dunkin' used to be for the old guy. Get a coffee, a donut, maybe a breakfast sandwich, right? That's changed.
Right.
Dunkin', right? America runs on Dunkin' because they're hip, their advertisement's cool, they're doing cool drinks, right? Be part of that. Let's go. Let's keep up.
Right. Let your restaurant take advantage of that and not, and be another place that people go to, whether it's you're a small coffee shop or you're doing full-time bar and dining. That's okay. These could be a great addition to a kid's menu where it can be, it comes with a drink, but the flavored lemonade's an extra $1, $1.50, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is because you're going to make money off it either way, but it's an easy extra $1 to your kid's meal over giving this with the kids' meal and actually probably end up losing money on the kids' meal.
It's hurting you.
Instead of
and look, we know this is not as exciting as food. Right.
Well, not yet, Chris.
The next segment
it's not as exciting yet.
But in your restaurant, this isn't as exciting, right? You've got so many things to worry about and think about. But I think it's come a time now to where if you don't have this on your radar, put it on your radar because the movement's happening. This is blowing up. Don't miss out on making your margins even better than what they are by not using these products. Hey, we're back.
Practicing. We're practicing. Get ready for
I'm practicing to throw behind the catch. Debut. I'm going to challenge Tom Cruise to a cocktail throwing contest.
It's going to be close.
Yeah, I don't think so. What if he still could do that?
I bet he could still do it better than me and you.
Oh, I'm sure. Like when he has people over, right? He just starts throwing them up behind his back. And
like one trick he still knows probably.
Yeah, and he just keeps doing it. Right. It's still more than what we got. So yeah. All right, how do you hit me with some ice?
Let's start making some drinks.
Yeah.
It's 5 o'clock
we'll go
somewhere.
With it. Yep. So we're going to start with an easy one, right? Again, simple syrup infused with basil. As you're making a simple syrup, you throw some basil in there, let it cook down, let it sit for a couple days, then remove the basil. So it's really simple. All right, so we're going to go with the vodka. I don't usually use these, but I guess for this I will because...
We'll do both. We'll start with some jiggers. We'll do some free pouring.
Definitely a free pour.
Same thing with the jiggers. Make sure if you're using jiggers, your team's using jiggers, they have one that would measure by the line, the fill line, one that would be the meniscus. So same thing, if we're trying to manage labor, manage costs on beverages, you need to know that because it could be like an 1/8 of an ounce or a 1/4 of an ounce difference by using a different sort of jigger. So know what you have in your restaurant.
Exactly what Scott said. I like to throw a basil leaf in there, and I'm making 2 drinks here. So we're going to use 2 ounces of the simple syrup. It's usually 1 ounce per drink.
Nice and simple syrup, super easy, right? Sugar, water. And this one, Chris fancied up, add some basil, but again, super easy recipe to sweeten, add some flavor to any of your drinks.
I mean, just so everyone knows, you can go with rosemary in there, sage, anything you want. You know, I just happen to, this time of year, I like a nice basil martini. So I figured.
There's a lot of drinks you like this time of year. But
well, this is one of them.
all right.
All right, here we go.
Give it a little harder shake, Chris. I don't think you're giving it hard enough.
You don't want to, can't bruise the vodka. We're not going to bruise the vodka. Just want to chill it. I'm not here to beat it up.
I want some nice ice crystals in my martini. I don't know you're going to get them that way.
This is not a heavyweight fight. I feel my hands getting cold. I see this frosting.
This is what happens when you let a chef to the bar.
Oh, listen. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. All right, here we go. Oh, that's a good-looking martini. Get the basil in there. There we go. Let it hang off the side like that. Almost got 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's see how we did.
Let's give it a taste.
That is not bad.
Does nice work.
I'm actually going to say, forget not bad. It is great.
Well,
it is great.
Unlike in your restaurant where you don't want your bartenders drinking while they're making it, we do still want to make sure all your staff is tasting the drinks. These are great things to do at like a.
We'd love to have our staff taste the drinks.
You know, we've talked about that, whether it's a pre-meal for food. Again, getting people excited to go to your table, sell your great drinks.
Chelsea, you want to have a little taste? Let's get in there. Tell us what you think.
The basil is very refreshing.
We usually save
really
Chelsea
good.
for the end wrap up, but we figured, while the drinks are here, we need to get her in for the.
Yeah.
She's sitting there working hard. Let her get refreshed.
It's
All
really
right.
nice. There's a good balance. It's light, refreshing, and you can actually smell the basil, so that's good.
Basil comes through real good. And it's got a little hint of sweetness, right?
And again, all the ingredients that we were already using in the lemonade, the basil simple syrup, and again, we just added a vodka to it. That's
it.
all. So again, all the things we were using for our
That's all
non-alcoholic
we
drinks,
did.
we're now turning into a great drink, beverage for that. So, and a couple, things is even, I know as we get in the bar, sometimes it looks easy, and it is in a lot of ways, but we really, as from a manager owner standpoint, want to dig into that food cost part. I think that's sometimes the myth behind the bar is because you're making such great margins on a lot of your drinks, you're not really looking at, are we giving drinks away? Are we using the correct ounces of liquor? And I think that's where, you can improve on those numbers, and there's money to be found by just being a little more involved what's going into the bar, what's happening around the bar.
Well, that's what happens a lot. Like, we work in a lot of restaurants, right? So we know that the bar is neglected when it comes to supervision. Right. But there's a lot of money walking out the door there. So that's something you definitely need to pay attention to and know what's going on at your bar and know what kind of drinks are being poured, right? Or if they're not using, if you don't require them to use a jigger, then you should weekly have test.
Right.
Like, can you actually pour an ounce or two without going over? So, all right, let's get some, let's make another drink. Let me refill these glasses. Looks like we're going to go full refill. We got plenty. All right, so now we're going to keep it simple. All right, we're going to go strawberry. It's very easy. A couple fresh cut strawberries. Got strawberry over there for garnish. We're going to follow pretty much the same thing we just followed. Little strawberry here, puree.
Yep, so this was strawberry puree. Again, you want to make sure all your
About 1 ounce.
ingredients are out, ready to go.
We're gonna need this. We got this. Give this a nice shake. Remember, shaking's important, Scott.
It is, and I think
Can't bruise it. Don't bruise the vodka.
I'm a little harder. I want to see some nice ice crystals. Nice ice crystals in the drink.
You got to treat it like you like it. You know, you don't want to beat it up.
I'm going to bring the ex-bartender back in for a cameo. But even if you're saying, I know it seems crazy, but the ice can really make or break a drink. You really want to make sure your ice is cold. It's not melted down. It's going to be watered down. And people, if it's just sitting in a well all day, it's not going to be the same ice as when you started the day. And that will negatively affect the drink. It could be a little more watered down. You're not going to get that great flavor from the alcohol because that ice is going to be part of it. So there is a lot, even in the management of just the ice. Make sure it's ready. All right.
All right, a little short, but it'll work. Scott have that one.
We don't make a lot of drinks. We want to make sure they're just samples, Chris. We don't need full drinks for each one.
I like to make a full drink. If you're not going to do it right, don't do it. All right, there you go. A couple strawberries on there.
Yeah, I mean, look at that martini. I mean, again, with prices and the depending on bar, I mean, these are super fresh ingredient drinks that are going to be now $12, $14, $16 martinis.
Absolutely.
And again, the margins when you add those fresh, lemonades and ingredients to it. That might be better than the first one. It's close.
It's real close.
I think you're warming up on the shake because I got some more ice crystals.
Oh, you thought that was it?
I think the shake you got a little stronger that time. You're already warmed up.
I'm pretty sure you like strawberries better than basil.
It's close. Actually, might need to try that one again to make sure.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me make a blueberry one.
I think it's the basil one now. I think it's whatever one I drink last. It's my favorite. That's typically how it goes with drinks for me. I think it's my last my favorite.
So how about we do a blueberry one?
Yeah.
And then we're going to try to do a blueberry strawberry one.
Yeah.
Right? And we do a strawberry lemon.
Let's get crazy, Chris.
Do.
I mean, I figure after a couple more drinks, who knows what Chris will be making back here?
We don't know. We'll have to shut the camera off maybe. All right, I'm going to make one last martini. Then we'll let Scott step in and show some of his bartending skills and make a drink or two.
Show the chef how it's done, right?
Yeah, so...
Even though the chef's doing a pretty good job over here, I'm still enjoying my martinis.
I hope you are. They're really good. All right. I love the sound of alcohol being poured out of a jigger. There's nothing better. There we go. So, of course, you go with the vodka. We're going to give a little blueberry here. 1 ounce. Some fresh blueberries in the cup. A little simple syrup. About 1 ounce. Scott, let me know if I shake this right.
I'm watching.
Because
I make sure. Let's see. You really want to be behind the ear, Chris.
I did hear you say that ice has to be cold. So, wouldn't it make it water if it wasn't? I'm just saying, if it's not cold, it's water.
If it's sitting out all day, it's going to...
How's that?
You're getting closer. A little more... I mean, you're strong. With these muscles, you should really be able to get a nice shake.
Am I supposed to put it through the wall back there?
That's a nice shake. See how that... Look at that.
Is this it? I got it.
This is going to be the best one yet.
Do I get my certificate?
Your bartending certificate.
How about this? Is better?
He is now trained. Chelsea's shaking her head yes. Yes.
All right. Chelsea's former bartender. She should have been doing this segment.
I know.
All right. She could probably get the little. Oh, look at that. This might be my favorite one. I ain't going to drink it yet.
And we always talk about what it looks like, right? So you're sitting at the bar and that comes up, or you're sitting at a table and that walks by. That's going to catch your eye. You're going to look at it like, what is that? It looks awesome.
Right. If that's walking by, you're saying, hold on a second. Hold on. What do you got there? I know my wife is.
Right.
A drink doesn't pass.
I don't know if I'm ordering the blue drink, but you never know.
Yeah. This looks good. Oh, wow.
That's good.
Wow.
And you really get the nice ice crystals there because you shook it a little harder this time.
Well,
so I think that's
personally, I think I bruised the vodka, but I still could drink it. That's good. I'm going to keep this one over here at me.
No, so those are some really nice.
Well, I'm gonna let you step in over here.
Martinis that he's making, but it doesn't have to be martinis, right? We could just be serving just some ice, and
could just be a cocktail.
I think we have over here. You kind of see and not that we'll really taste test against them, but there's probably not much hotter right now than these Surfside iced tea and vodkas, right? Bars are serving them. You see them on the beach. Canned drinks, a vodka, lemonade. So they're everywhere. Now, is there a time that your restaurant should sell those? Absolutely, right? You're a beach bar. There's certain things that they probably have a role in your business. But what you're paying for those at, over a couple dollars versus what you have to sell those for on a profit side, that's where these drinks are just going to give you such better margins. And again, if you already have the ingredients, we can make them. So, the chef was using the jiggers. I'm going to pretend, practice the free pouring a little bit. So usually we're going for this with 1.5 ounces. So we're going to be like a 6 count as we pour it. Yeah.
I'll come to your bar.
I know Chris is going to more of a double, so I'll make Chris a 2-ounce pour. It's a great upsell for your bartenders. It doesn't have to be the double; it can be a 2-ounce pour.
Right.
So we're still going to get some more money out of that again. So this will make Chris a 2-ounce. I know 1.5 ounces knocked me enough for him.
No,
so we're going to be closer to the 8-ounce count. And again, another way to manage costs back there with you and your team is if you can kind of know what that free count should look like, right? So I'm back over here. I can see my bartender pouring, and I watch and said, yeah, that looks right, or not. I mean, even like we bring a lot of sports references back. Mm-hmm. I mean, your bartender should be doing some sort of pour test to make sure that they're calibrating, their pour each shift if you're not requiring them to use jiggers. So again, this is super simple, right? This is just a vodka lemonade, right? We don't need to add anything to it yet. We're just gonna have a vodka lemonade, an easy addition to your menu.
Refreshing.
Easy, right?
Yeah.
Super refreshing, super easy. And then again, I'm gonna take those same ones. I'll cheat a little bit here. We already have our drink, right?
Just build it up. So let me ask this question, right? We're talking about making sure people correct pours, the 6 count. I know there's a 9 count too, just from being in the restaurant world. As a manager walking through the restaurant, you're keeping your eye on that.
Exactly. It's part of your routine. It's part of your loop. It's something else that you're not just going to let it go off. So again, we got,
simple syrup,
a little blueberry, a little simple syrup, some garnish, and we're gonna try it again. I'm gonna make you take another drink over here.
Something's happening here. So let me ask you a question. Can we just move right on to the next drink and put a little, make it a blueberry strawberry?
Let's try it out. That's the nice thing we get behind the bar is we can create these recipes. Your bartending staff probably has experience in other restaurants. So
I like that.
And again, maybe like a 1/4 ounce. It's just a quick little count. We have some strawberries already. Add them in. Let me even. Look at that.
I made you a nice garnish over there.
A little garnish.
Here's my garnish. Come on, I worked hard.
And again, so we started, right, with some fresh lemonade, and now we're all the way up to, right, blueberry, strawberry, delicious drink.
Whatever you want to call it.
Chris cocktail, whatever you want to call it on your menu.
Call it whatever you want.
And I think it's better every time.
Guess what?
That's really good.
That's a winner.
Yeah.
Put that on the menu. I like how it layers, right? I wouldn't stir it. I would let it layer like that.
Let it look nice.
Yeah.
It kind of beats that. So again, lots of options for you to get to. And then really, the only other last one is, again, because we'll look at that and we'll kind of see is we'll make one of a vodka iced tea, right? And we could do this as, again, an Arnold Palmer. We have so many options that we can make this with. Again, we'll use the 6 count, get about 1.5 ounces.
Right. That's an iced tea, right? But then we could do an Arnold Palmer. We go half.
Exactly.
And put the lemonade in it.
Yeah, it's
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Super easy. We're not reinventing the wheel here. Super simple drinks. But again, you can make yours as raspberry iced teas, or you could do all these sort of different drinks on your menu to elevate that bar menu. Make it fun, make it seasonal. As we get into the fall, we can do different things. But I think as you add these great drinks to your menu, right, from a bar, from an owner standpoint, it's still beneficial when the customer is ordering this over ordering one of those canned beverages.
Well, like you said, this does have a place, right?
We're not saying not to bring it in.
Grab and go item, taking it out to go to the beach, go to your backyard, whatever.
Right.
But this is where the profitability comes in.
Yes.
And it's fresh, it's in-house, you got fun with it, you can play with it, you can make it yours.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's the possibilities are endless, and that's where that fresh ingredient, starting with making our own lemonade iced tea, gets us all the way up to this.
Right.
And again, obviously, as we get to the bartenders, we want them maybe be upselling some Grey Goose or upselling other things, because that's, as you
Well, the upsell as a bartender is part of it. That's part of the job.
It's part of the job. And that's where, I think as me and Chris talk a lot about with the staff you're bringing in, you're going to need to teach that and develop that maybe more than you have in the past.
Well, training's never done. We're always teaching, we're always training, right? It's great to watch what they're doing behind the bar and step in and just say, hey, try it this way, try it that way. Like, I didn't hear you upsell this.
Right.
You have to pay attention to what's going on there. Yeah. If you leave it just to the bartenders,
right.
The bartender's going to have a great time, don't get me wrong, but you're not going to be as profitable as you want to be. So you definitely got to pay attention to it.
Yeah, and just like in the kitchen, we want recipe cards for these. We want to know what the drink is. I mean, I've worked with bartenders that, customer ordering something, sure, I can make it, what color do you want it?
Right.
And yeah, we want to be creative and all that,
right.
but we still want, if this is a drink we're specialing, and our plan is to sell a bunch of these drinks, we want to know how many ounces we're going of liquor versus whatever, so we can measure that out, make sure the price makes sense.
Right.
If we're going to put on a happy hour special, that's fine, but we need to know that the dollar number is still going to benefit the restaurant at that price.
It doesn't change from the bar to the kitchen. We need to know what it costs. And if you don't know what it costs, take the time, just like we tell you with your food menu, take a section at a time, take a section at a time. Take 5 items, right? Get through them. Let's get the recipe card, get to the next 5, get to the next 5. Let's get through it. Let's know what the cost is. Maybe you're going to realize, wow, we're really underpriced on this.
Right.
And one thing we don't want you to be is underpriced. So, let's get started on this. Let's make it a priority.
Yeah, and I think it just gets overlooked because even if you are not pricing it correctly or your bartenders are over pouring or giving drinks away, the bar is still profitable. I think that's where a lot of restaurants are. The bar is probably so profitable, but if you're leaving money on the table, that's the part of it.
It's a small profit, right? You're not as profitable as you should be.
It could be. It can be helping your food.
And the bar should be helping other areas of the restaurant to succeed. Because that is where you can make the most profit, easily.
Absolutely.
Right? It's less labor. The product is much less to control and take care of.
Right.
So you have to have your eyes there. That bar margins should be helping the whole restaurant. And if it's not, then there's an issue.
There's a lot of times, Chris and I talk about finding 5% in your restaurant. There's times that we don't even have to look that far. We look at someone's bar and we're already at 5 to 8% before we touch a food item. Right. I think that's really telling is how underutilized some of that is.
I think the biggest part is how confident we are when we tell somebody, we can find 5% in your restaurant.
Right.
And they're like, I do this, I do that. I got this tray, I got this Excel sheet. Okay, and we go in and we're like at 8% in an hour. Right. And they're like, oh, wow. They're like, so we're very confident we can walk in any restaurant and find 5% at a minimum.
Yeah, but so like I said, on this one, we're going to taste some drinks. We're going to have some of our staff taste some drinks, and then we're going to talk about them. So maybe, we'll taste them versus the pre-packaged ones. And again, I don't know which one's going to win or lose. I don't necessarily know if it completely matters. They're both parts of your menu, but I think the goal is if your staff knows where to go with it, we want to be selling this all day.
The bottom line is alcohol still. Still, you're going to have a good time drinking it. I think this is better. It's fresher. But there is a place for it.
Yeah, it's going to compete with your canned beer, your bottle beer, and that's fine. Right? So the person coming in...
that's the big thing with them. I think if I had them be in the fridge to go, I would push these more. If I was a bartender, like, hey, you want that? Let me make you my version.
And that exactly. From server or bartender, I agree 100%. They should be like, oh, that is a great drink. We actually make a fresh version. So if you're sitting at a table, the can isn't really that exciting. If you're on a beach bar, maybe I would rather grab a can.
If you're sitting at a table and they walk up with this, you can say, oh, okay.
Fresh fruit in it.
This looks great. Got a little fresh fruit. You're getting hydrated. You're doing good.
Getting hydrated.
Keep drinking.
Well, I guess an lemonade is a bunch of water. So
there's a little bit in there, but the fruit's good for you.
Yeah, so we're back to talk about drinks.
We're back to talk about the drinks, but we just want to give everybody a quick look into next week's episode. This is one that everyone's been saying we got to do. So we're going to do it. It's going to be an easy win because all of them are easy wins, but especially this one. Do you want to tell them?
Well, Chris has been waiting for this for a while. He's been licking his chops, but he's going after the frozen meatball.
Yeah.
And I think that is right in Chris's wheelhouse.
Can't stand the frozen meatball.
Not going to like the frozen meatball. So next week's going to be a fun one. not made for the challenge part, but I'm excited to see what Chris is going to do with a meatball.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be back in a little bit.
All right, so this week's episode, kind of a fun summer thing. We're taking a look at the craze of canned cocktails compared to making your own. So what were some of the findings from the experiment?
Well, I would say that making your own is much better,
Yeah.
more cost effective, and it gives you the freedom to play around with it and make it what you want instead of being locked into, here's a can. Right? You make it your own, let people come to your place, have some fun, and get a drink that looks great. I mean, great colors. It's a great product.
Well, it lets you add the fresh fruit in there. It lets you add different flavors. I think even from a price standpoint, we know that the price is way better to do it yourself. But I think also there's somewhat of a cap that you could charge for a canned cocktail, right? Unless you're on some sort of really, expensive spot, like it caps out. It's a canned drink.
Right.
Where this, I think it's fresh ingredients, fresh fruit. The value add is nicer from a consumer standpoint.
I think also just pointing out the fact that with, house-made cocktails, you get a little more freedom, like you said, because, realistically, when it's December, I don't think anyone's really going to want an iced tea Surfside vodka because it doesn't fit exactly, what's going on, outside.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think there's no reason you can't have both. But I think what we wanted people to see is, yes, everyone's craving the canned cocktails. But, by reintroducing or elevating to say, well, we also have our own lemonade, our own fresh lemonade with some fresh fruit, you may be able to entice this customer into something like that if they know it's similar ingredients and, similar makeup.
And that's what we talked about earlier. The bartender or the wait staff, if someone ordered this, you could say, hey, I make my own, fresh here, in-house, way better.
Yeah.
Right? So now your margins are way better because they're, pushing that. And they stand behind it because they're actually making it. So I think that really comes into play. It's a big part.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times the people may shy away from a mixed drink thinking it's a lot more sugar, it's very heavy, very syrupy, which some of them can be, which is why this also could be a great, happy hour taste test, right? Having your customers do their own taste test to say, try our lemonade, we'll even do a little cup of it, because again, the cost here is minimal, right?
It's pennies.
Yeah.
It's pennies.
And again, these are great. As a consumer, you go to the beer store, you go to your liquor store, right? You're bringing some home. You're going to the beach today. I'm going to grab a 6-pack of some sort of beer. Oh, you know what? I'll grab a 4-pack of these. Okay,
Right.
We're not telling you not to. I'm not telling you to bring your own bottle, like Chris would probably to the beach, of Tito's, and he'll start bartending and making his drinks, right?
Shaking them up. It's all right.
It's fine. So that's great.
It's cost effective.
Some people like using the can, but at a restaurant, I think, especially at a dine-in, you don't have to just jump into the craziness.
Yeah. And I think, in the COVID times, right, it was really convenient because then you didn't have to rely on a bartender. You know, these are going to have the same quality every time. But the other thing we talked about is this could walk out your door very quickly, right? This is going to take a lot longer to walk out your door than this. This could walk out very fast.
Right into a backpack, duffel bag, whatever. You get the busboy in the back, cracking one. Drinking it. Right. It happens. It happens. I saw you doing it.
We've seen empty cans around, right?
We've seen them, right?
Remember?
Who's drinking that, right? Yeah. It's definitely happening.
Yeah.
They're not brought from home.
No.
Right.
Cold, so.
Right.
But a very easy way, right? Again, we're not trying to give you really complex solutions. An easy solution would be, how many cases did you order, right? And what are your sales? Because if those numbers aren't close, right, there really is no shrinkage here. It's not going to go bad. Those numbers should be pretty close to 1 for 1. And just doing that simple check and letting your team know you're paying attention can make a big difference.
Absolutely. If you're not doing that, you absolutely should be. And that should be part of your process starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because you need to know where they're going. And that's the easiest way to do it. How many cases did we buy? What was the cost? Where are our sales? That's going to tell you right away if things are walking out the door.
Like Ann said, on a can or a bottle, it's not like a liquor bottle. It's not like a liquor bottle. It's not like a draft beer. There really should be zero shrinkage. At the end of the day, maybe, I don't know, one person didn't like it, or maybe a bottle broke. But past that, where else would they be besides giving away?
With your staff.
Giving away with your staff.
Right.
So.
And that goes back to paying attention to our bar sales. because there's a lot we could find in our bar sales, and it's hard to oversee. A lot of the sales happen late at night. It's a different business sector than where our GM are paying attention to, and back of house and all that. So I think just some of these weekly checks, looking at the bar sales, what are your customers ordering? What does that look like? What's your reorder? Because again, the other hard part of bar sales is you're reordering, 3-4 times, a period instead of like every couple of days on the food side. So I think just being aware of that. And then ultimately, what are your margins? Because the other thing we've really seen in the canned cocktail craze, the canned beer craze, is those margins really are starting to get affected by this. Because you said there's a cap on the sale and there's only so much we can buy. So doing that little extra step of a promotion to get people to taste some of your in-house drinks, I mean, it could shift a little bit of people back into the direction of better margins.
I think it definitely can. And again, like you said, it's better margins. If your people are buying into it that are behind the bar and your wait staff, then your customers will. Especially, I would much rather have somebody bring me this than this.
Yeah.
We're going to see in a minute after you try this out. I can honestly say I've never tried a Surfside, and I've never tried a vodka lemonade by Trinity. So
this reminds me of that chicken sandwich last week.
No.
All right, that's what it reminds me of. It can't be as good. It's just not possible.
No.
So we're going to taste the fresh one first. We're going to go start with these.
I already tasted the fresh one. I wasn't waiting.
if you're just tuning in, this is actually Chris's third.
Let's see what we got here.
It's really good. Very
Very
refreshing.
good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not too heavy. Definitely not too sweet.
Right. I mean, it's got
That's
great
really
flavor.
It allows you to change it up. You can have different sizes of it. You can have different
Well,
flavors in it.
they could do it in any kind of glass they want. You get
Have
strawberry.
a double.
Well, usually. You get a strawberry garnish on it. I mean, just you're going to walk through the dining room, people can say, "Oh, what's that?"
Yeah, and the other thing I love about this is you've just created your own beverage, right? So come up with like a fun name,
Right, yep.
like a local name. This is our signature, like really elevated. It's not just like, here's a drink. It's, hey, here's our specialty drink that we love.
It's no different than the food menu. You
Yeah.
got to have fun with it,
Yeah,
right? I mean, we're doing this. The restaurant business is hard enough. You find that opportunity, have fun with something, do it. And your menu should be fun. And this is one of them.
I think it's a really good way to honestly boost the guest experience, because not only are you showing like how creative you can be, but it's also a good opportunity, one, to do that happy hour to get people in the door, and then, offer that LTO that we talked about last week. It's just a matter of getting people in the door and how can we get them back. So whether that's running a happy hour where, for the next 2 weeks it's margaritas, but the 1 week you have jalapeno and the next week you have pineapple. It's really just figuring out ways to get people to come back, but also keep the experience up.
Well, like you said, coming back, they could go anywhere and get that.
Yeah,
You can't go anywhere and get this.
yeah.
This is only at the Largo Group, right? So
Largo Bar.
It's a Largo Bar.
Coming in soon.
We made it, right? We have the recipe. We're going to put it up for you. It's nice and simple.
Yeah.
But, they keep coming back for that. Maybe you're the only one making it. Everybody's got this.
Yeah.
So all right, I guess let's try
let's
this one out.
Let's see.
Cheers. Good
Good
luck.
Good luck.
Yes. It's okay.
I'm not
Sweeter,
a fizzy.
for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely sweeter. I'm not
Yeah.
a fizzy guy. Like I don't like the fizz,
Yeah.
But it's definitely sweeter, for sure. I mean, you can't read this unless you have a magnifying glass.
It's not bad. It's almost to me almost like flavorless.
It's flat.
Which is
The
isn't
flavor's
bad.
flat.
I don't taste the alcohol, which
Yeah.
could be a good thing.
Or it could be bid.
But I don't get much. But I don't get much really lemon flavor either out of it. It's not.
Yeah.
I think that's also a disadvantage too for the canned cocktails, unless you're getting, rocks on the side. It's going to be something that is going to get warm if it's sitting
Yeah.
for too long, and
Right.
then your guest isn't going to enjoy it anyways.
It's the flavor's flat. It's just like it doesn't wow you.
Yeah.
Very good.
Listen, if I was at the beach smoking a cigar and I was at a beer and
Someone handed you this one.
all right. I mean, I guess I'll drink it, but I won't look forward to it.
Yeah, and that's, I think, going back to, understanding your customer base, right? Because this customer is as female, right? Looking to alternative to beer, maybe slightly lower priced than the mixed drinks, right? Because the mixed drinks really went up in price a lot over the last few years. So I think being aware of that, could you create a mixed drink that's a little bit of a middle ground, call it like your lemonade, or something that has a good price point that's competitive with this, because this is going to have such a better margin.
Right.
So I think if you can educate your customer on like, hey, you don't have to have a mixed drink. This has, similar profile in terms of calorie content to, what is in this can, but it's going to taste way better. Because the two taste remarkably different.
Right.
And I would say this one's a lot better.
Well, I mean, you have 6% alcohol. If you add an ounce and a half of liquor, you're kind of equal out. And I think you see on ours, you don't really need it to be a 12-ounce beverage.
Right.
So if you're getting into the calorie part of that stuff, you could do it in an 8-ounce beverage probably, and maybe someone has a second one where they might not want 24 ounces of drinks, but
Exactly.
they're okay with 16 ounces.
For dinner, right? They're sitting there eating, and they had 2 during dinner.
Right.
They might only have 1 of these, which your price point's not that great.
Yeah.
Or you want to sell 2 of these at a great price point. And I think that's the exercise we do every week, right? We want to drive people towards fresh and homemade opposed to packaged or frozen, right? So.
Yeah, and there's enough apps online where you could figure out like the calorie of your lemonade, just so people know like it's not like crazy sugar, because they might think like sugary, really high calorie. But I think you can figure out.
Different sugar free. I mean, as you're making your own lemonade, you can control is it sugar free. You could add a simple syrup to sweeten up a little bit.
Yeah.
Just as we get into iced teas, you could have just a fresh iced tea that's not really going to have any calories, and then you could add a sweet tea with a simple syrup that you already have. Make both versions of your drinks to get to any person on that, and at least it gives you a competitive for this. So again, this is probably I would say one of the most popular ones out right now.
Yeah, it's a
Have you guys had this one? I haven't.
It's a stateside. I mean, stateside got great vodka. Let's see how they do.
All right, let's see. That's good.
It's better than that, right? I mean, there's a reason why. There's a reason why this is probably the number 1 canned cocktail
And
out
it's
there
better
right
than
now. The twisted tea.
less sweet than the twisted tea.
Yeah, it's not sweet at all, but it's got a good. It does has a good flavor.
Yeah.
Definitely has a good flavor.
So it is good. We had to. But I think the other thing to think about in these canned cocktails is if you're doing any sort of events, you're doing open bar, off-site catering. Scott's had a few projects on this, right? Again, I mean, first of all, having some sort of understanding of like how many of these you're going to need for one of those events, and then really making sure you have a tight inventory, because these could go like wildfire.
We talked about a couple of our clients.
They will.
And we've seen it with our clients that do things at like golf outings where it is sort of open bar.
Yeah.
And like because it's an outing, it's not just their own customers. They're bringing their own coolers and they're grabbing these to put in the coolers. That's a real story that's happening where you really can't grab a lot of these in your own cooler. So I do think as you get into those events, like I'm saying, it's very easy for them to walk away.
Yeah.
And
bottom line is it's way more controllable.
Right.
We can control what's happening here.
Yeah.
Very difficult to control. Like I said, there's a place for them. It's in your to-go.
A golf cart, right? You're at hole 9 and it's just sitting there. That's a great idea to not have to worry about that person who's running your cart have to know how to make a drink, right? They're not a trained bartender. They don't know that. You know how to manage that.
Right.
So that's probably a spot for that there.
Yeah, it belongs in the to-go fridge. It's people can get them to go. But inside your establishment, I would definitely push more towards things you can control.
Yeah. And the second part of it being, the homework or the takeaway of this is any place you've added canned cocktails or cans, really making sure that your process is there, your inventory counts are there, and not just saying, oh, we do it the same we always have, it's fine. No, because fundamentally your, beverage has changed in this area. Yeah. So we want to make sure that we're, keeping track of it.
Yeah. And that's good homework, because I think at the same time, if you are now selling a lot of these canned cocktails, it's probably coming away from somewhere. Yes. So maybe you had a twisted tea on your menu, or maybe you had something else that could just go away. Yeah. Because I think that's what we're seeing sometimes as these new, whether it's a canned beer, bottled beer, can of these, it's not always taking away from your mixed drinks, it's taking away from other canned or bottled drinks you had. So now you're sitting on wasted inventory that you don't really need. Yeah. If this is selling great, then get rid of something that's not selling great.
Yeah. Well, and the final piece too is, if you're a brewery and you're frustrated because people have gone to the canned cocktails, which we know is true, especially from attending the beer convention earlier in the year, is that we really want to embrace it.
They were fired up.
They were
fired up.
But there's nothing we can do, right? People like it. It's a fad. It's a phase. It's a new, whatever it is.
Right.
It doesn't really matter. It's here. But the last thing you want is people not coming into your establishment because you don't offer this as well. Because they still want to come. They still want to enjoy your restaurant, your brewery, and there's still a place for beer. I say, as someone who likes beer more than me, there's still that element of the people who like beer better.
Yeah, like I said, there's a place for them, But if you own your bar or your restaurant, you need your employees to push this for you.
Yeah.
Someone wants to get something to go, that's great. Obviously you're not going to sell these to go, but if they're in a restaurant and you just give them a quick, like, hey, I'd make a mean one that's better than what's in that can, they're always going to say yes, give me that.
Yeah.
And it actually is better, and then I go to come for that. So it just can't be something that you throw in a menu and nobody talks about because they're not going to know. It's got to be talked about. It's got to be pushed. Maybe make little cards, put them around, make it an LTO, put it a happy hour, educate your staff on it, and then I guarantee it'll be a success.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was a great, fun episode. We hope you learned a lot, and I think the homework is go look at your bar sales, liquor sales, look at your NA Bev sales, and really don't be afraid of it, right? It is an area that could be elevated. It is definitely an area that could be more profitable.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Chris, Scott, Chelsea, another great episode.
Our pleasure.